Jobs. Corona. Besides some powder, it's a little bag so that I don't need to buy a plastic bag when I go shopping. Yeah, good afternoon to the visitors of this conference. My name is Barbara Zollmann and I'm President and CEO at the Korean-German Chamber of Commerce in Korea since 2013. I'm an economist and I always wanted to work in an international environment between politics and business. And after my studies, I interned at the Association of German Chambers in Bonn at that time. And I experienced the visit of heads of state, one of them Yasser Arafat. And I was deeply impressed just by the whole situation. And at that time, I decided I want to work abroad and also in this area of business. I personally think that everybody can be a leader in their specific areas, let it be kids in school or moms running their families. So in my case, it's also very simple examples that I can give. For example, in my very first position as assistant to president of a chamber, I heard about a vacancy to run a leadership group of young leaders. And I volunteered for this and took over this organization with 150 entrepreneurs. I had no leadership experience of any kind, but I thought I could get some out of it. And that has been the motto of my life. Take the opportunities that present themselves or create the opportunities for yourself. It is participation. For me, leadership, of course, sometimes it has to be top-down, but I believe more in a more democratic style, bottom-up, hearing what people have to say, and then the decision can be taken. But I want people to be part of the decision. This moment in time with the corona pandemic and an increasing pace of digitalization is one of our life-changing moments, I believe. At the same time, entrepreneurs, they push so much for new technologies, destroying the old and creating something new. So for me as an economist, I think it's about this creative destruction that is taking place so old things go away, that new things can come up, and this is the way we create innovation and progress. So seeing this background, I think a leader has to have a lot of qualities. It has to be an optimistic one who sees clearly what's happening around and who is turning challenges into opportunities. So, for example, during Corona, when we cannot travel and when we cannot meet people in person, then it's digitalization that becomes our lifeline and our way of communicating. So digitalization is our friend and not our enemy, and this is what leaders have to communicate in a positive way. For example, we need leaders who are open, who are willing to cross boundaries and create synergies between areas which seem to be unrelated. And this is how we bring in different opinions and can learn from such opinions. We also need ethical people who look beyond the immediate gain for just a few and who rather look at the more midterm or long-term benefit for the organization or the society. And we need bold people who are not intimidated by decisions that have to be taken and who drive the world forward. It's not the look back, but it's the look forward that is creating our future. And most importantly, I think we need inclusive leaders who take others with them onto the journey, who give them room for development and for trial and error. And I don't want to define any group. Can be women, but can be any type of group. We have to take everyone with us in the leadership position. And most importantly, don't let's just wait for such leaders. Let's be such leaders. Of course, I only look at it as an outsider, and I can just give some impressions, not knowing if this is true or not. But my impression was that women in this country have a lot on their plate. In their families, in the companies, and basically all the expectations put on their shoulder. And I think this is a lot. So mentorships like the ones that we do help them to sort this out and make priorities. And one of the things that women could do more is putting themselves as a priority as well, because I see them turned too much to their work and too much to their family, and I don't see that they are giving themselves priority. And this is one of the steps that they could take in order to advance with their career. Of course, the many programs that have been created to advance women in their careers help too, because they raise awareness and they create an environment where it's easier for women. But the most important step the women have to take themselves. Women in Korea seem to have less opportunities to create networks. Maybe they are not important today, but they can be a vast resource for them to learn, or maybe they're the leaders of tomorrow. So this is, I think, the biggest advice that I want to give to Korean women. Take time for themselves, take their career development serious, and then build networks to advance your leadership. It's not being given to you, despite all the support that everybody wants to give to women empowerment and women development. But in the end, it has to come from the women themselves. I simply worked my way through the different levels, but I think what is very important, in every position that I had, I saw opportunities where I went into. One example is the one with the Young Leadership Group that I joined very early on, although I didn't have any leadership experience. The other one is when I went to Chicago, which was an opportunity by itself to go to a chamber abroad. The chamber sized down at that point in time dramatically, and many people left the sinking ship, but I stayed with 2 or 3 other colleagues, and we decided to build up the chamber again. And all of a sudden I was head of department. The department was basically just me, and then we just started working, and in a team we built the chamber up again. Took 1.5 years, but then it started thriving again. So it's always, how do you see the challenges? Is it frightening, or do you say, oh great, I can do something with it and I can contribute? So this is leadership in very small steps, and also career development in small steps. I think this is leadership in small steps and career development in small steps, something everybody can do. I'd say in Germany, the gap between opportunities for women and for men is not as big as it is here in Korea. I believe women had a stronger role in society, a stronger role in society than they do have here in Korea. Germany then also went into a quota system, which encouraged many companies or organizations just to rise up the level of women participation. But in the end, you have to have a pipeline so that your quota can work. So you have to start at a totally different level. And it's interesting when you look at leadership in politics. You have a female German chancellor for many, many years in Germany. You now have a female leader at the EU Commission, also a German lady. So there are people really, really in strong positions. We just have to make sure that it happens in all areas of life. And then we come to one very important topic we haven't talked about yet. It's the role of men in society. Because women can only take on so many additional tasks, so we have to ask a man, what can you do to take, the burden off the back of your wife or your partner, so that you both have equal opportunities in participation in the family and in the jobs. And that's something that I hardly see here in Korea. So here we focus everything about women empowerment projects, but where are the programs to bring men more onto the scene and really create the awareness there? And so that's my suggestions for companies here in Korea: create programs for the men to step up to this role.